Coming up, I'd like to show you my futon. We'll also go into the kitchen for a new thermometer from iDevice. Then we'll look at the VisionTech USB hubs, the Nitro Black Edition Acer Aspire, and I've got the hottest phone on the market today, the Nexus 6. It's time to watch before you buy.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Before You Buy is brought to you by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
Before You Buy is brought to you by iFixit. You can fix it, and iFixit makes it easy with free step-by-step repair guides, high-quality replacement parts, and all the tools you'll need. For $10 off your purchase of $50 or more, go to ifixit.com/twit and enter the code Before You Buy at checkout. And by SmartThings. SmartThings lets you control and monitor your home anywhere in the world using your smartphone. To get started, visit smartthings.com/twit, and you'll save 10% off any home security or solution kit when you use the code TWIT10 at checkout. Welcome to Before You Buy, the Twit product review show, where we get some of the greatest stuff in the world and we give it to our staff and we let them bang on it until we get a sense of what it would be like to use it in real life. Shannon Morse is here. Snubs! Hello, Snubs.
Hi.
You are a brave person because this is a piece of furniture. This isn't an easy thing to review. It's not a phone.
Yeah.
It's not a laptop. Did we actually put this in your apartment?
Yeah, literally. It was in my apartment. There were people on it, several.
This is the, what is this, the rocker, DHP rocker
Yes.
futon?
Yes, it's called the DHP Rocker Futon. And the reason why we're
not reviewing
it here,
a futon because it's furniture.
it's because it has a Bluetooth speaker on the inside.
Whoa!
So you figured out
It
that
is a
you can do a couch and a bed. It can fit about 3 people or like 7 small people.
But you're saying there's speakers built into it?
Yeah, there are. There's a bass amplifier on the back.
On this?
On the back,
okay.
right in the center. And then on both sides, on the left and the right, you have 2 treble speakers. Now, the issue
Treble
that we
or
ran
treble? I think they might be treble speakers.
They're kind of both.
Yeah.
So the issue we ran into with this, after connecting it to Bluetooth as well as aux in, we tried it both ways. It turned out that the treble speakers kind of have a wiring issue where if you don't kick it a few times, it just doesn't really work.
But that could just be this one. I don't.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but okay, that's something to be aware of, is that sometimes the speakers don't work. Can we try it? Can I hear it?
Yeah, I think Karsten had it connected to his phone, so we'll see if he can reconnect
play
it
something
to
with a
his.
nice solid bass. Is it going to kick? Is it like one of those
The bass is decent. It kind of sounds like the music is being played in a different room.
Yeah.
So it's slightly muffled, and that's probably because of all the cushioning on the inside.
There's a band in my couch.
Otherwise,
It's also, somebody said in the chat room, it looks like somebody took the front seat out of an old Chevy.
it does. So as far as using it just as a futon, it's not very comfortable. It's very firm, and the 2 edges along the sides are very tough. So if you fall on one,
Is that
it
the
kinda
music?
hurts. That's the music.
You have a
Yeah,
low rider?
it sounds really bad.
That's terrible.
It's very low. The treble speaker is not working
Kick the treble.
right now.
Zach, come here. Zach's got this special touch. You know what it sounds like? Somebody's listening to music in the other apartment.
It does, exactly. So it did work, the treble did work this weekend when I had a party over at my place, and I had people listening to it, and one of the quotes I got from somebody was, "Is somebody's phone going off?"
Yeah, nice.
Because it was so muffled. So this does cost $349. All the connections are over on your right side.
It's cheap.
It is. It's a good price for a futon.
Yeah.
The legs just screw into the bottom, so it's very easy to set up. However, one of them, the bolt was kind of loose, so it was kind of a pain to screw in. And you can see the side right there. You can see all the different ports that you have. You can control the bass and the treble. It's very hard to review this when you're just laying there.
Very comfy.
And then there's also buttons for play, pause, preview, next, and you can also put in USB or an SD card.
Play
to
some more
listen to
music. So
as
now
well.
I know I could turn it up. So play some.
He's got some music going.
It's terrible.
It is. It's
Kick it
so
again.
Bad. Honestly, I think the idea of putting a speaker on the two sides and a bass behind you just muffles everything and makes it a very unclear sound.
It's broken.
Even with the treble working, it's very hard to understand. And now he broke it.
That's broken.
It's very hard to understand the treble in the first place.
I'm rebooting it. This is a couch for people who like to monkey around with their furniture.
Is
it comfortable? Did you get anybody to sleep in it?
Yes, I did. And it's very uncomfortable.
Did your husband sleep on it?
No.
Some friend? Oh, hit it with a hammer.
I had a few
friends. Go ahead, hit it
again. You guys.
What did your? Sorry, stop hitting it. So, what did your friends say about sleeping on it?
He said his back hurt after he woke up.
And there was a strange tune playing all night. This is terrible. Okay,
it's pretty bad.
Pros and cons.
So when it worked correctly all weekend until Karsten broke it.
Oh, it was Karsten that broke it. All right.
So for my pros,
fortunately, I have my iFixit kit.
It does have a very easy setup, and it has plenty of controls, which I like, so you don't have to move your phone around. Yeah. On the con side, though, it's very muffled. Even with the treble speakers working, it's very muffled, so it's hard to understand. It's uncomfortable, and it's very quiet. So it's definitely a don't buy. Don't spend $350
We were punking you. This isn't a real product. We just were teasing you when you came back from your honeymoon. We were jealous. No, that is a real product. The DHP Rocker Futon.
They sell it at Target.
It is $350.
Yes.
I mean, it's not expensive.
But you can find other futons at Walmart for less than that.
It's not a stereo system. Don't use it for your stereo system.
It's for a kid.
Or not even a kid. All right. Thank you, Shannon. There you go. Target, $349. It got 4 stars on the Target, but there's only 2 reviews. Probably
one review is horrible, and the other one is like 5 stars.
Guess who wrote the 5-star review? Not Shannon Morse. Thank you, Shannon. Not me. Don't point at me. Hey, let's go to the kitchen. Tanya Hall, our producer and host of Marketing Mavericks, is a fabulous cook. She loves to cook. So we gave her the iDevice kitchen thermometer. She has this review for you.
Hi, I'm Tanya Hall, the host of Marketing Mavericks on Twit TV. And today I'm reviewing 2 thermometers. First up is the ThermoWorks ThermaPen. It's an ergonomic thermometer. It's got a pretty thick needle at the base. It does get very, very tiny at the end, which is good, so the tip is small. It's pretty simple. There's not a whole lot to say. You have a display, which you can set actually in the back here to either Fahrenheit or Celsius. Once you have it set, it's pretty simple. You actually stick it in your dish, and within about 2 to 3 seconds, maybe less, you're going to have a very accurate read. You do get a certificate of calibration from ThermoWorks, and they actually say that it is within 0.7 degrees Fahrenheit accurate, which I would believe is probably true. Accuracy is really important to people who are cooking certain types of dishes especially. It isn't just for the professional chef. It doesn't have a light in the display, so if you're using it in the evening for outside grilling, it might be a little difficult to read, although ThermoWorks does sell a backlit version. All in all, this is a really nice thermometer. It's going to give you an exact read very quickly, which again, if you're cooking certain types of dishes, speed matters. It is listed, I found it as low as $96. And the pros and cons. A pro would definitely be the speed. I haven't seen a thermometer that quick. And it's very accurate. A con would be that the probe thickness, even though at the tip it's fairly thin, it's a little thick up top, and so that could potentially let some juices out of your meat. The other thing I would say as a con is, again, that it's not backlit. And for only $15 more, you could get the backlit version, but it's a very large display nonetheless. I very much like this. I definitely think it is worth the money, and I give it a buy. Next up, we have the iDevice Bluetooth thermometer. Now, this is really interesting. It comes with 2 probes, which right now are nicely put together. It's actually a huge advantage is that it has this nice little wraparound cord for storage, and they fit together. So this was really handy. The probes actually come off of the device like this, which will go right in the back of the Bluetooth device. The device actually comes with 2 batteries. You just pop off the top. The top really just pulls right off. It's just a little snug. So you just want to make sure that you realize it is actually going to come off. We actually had a couple of people here try it, and no worries, it came off very easy. It's just really snug. The iDevice is different than maybe some other traditional, $20 digital thermometers in that a few things. One is it's got a display, and it not only has 2 probes, but it's actually Bluetooth. And the app is what you're really paying for. The app is what sets it apart. Once you download the app and connect to Bluetooth, you can choose the temperature that you want for your dish. Or you can actually use the built-in settings. They have settings for steaks, burgers, chicken, pork, roasts. There's also a graph that once you do download the app and you get your settings, it'll actually show you the progress of your dish as it's been cooking, which is really kind of neat. It's very accurate. I did actually test it against the Thermapen, and they were almost identical. The Bluetooth works up to about 150 feet away, so if you're cooking dinner and it's going to take a while, you can certainly check your app on your phone and maybe, have a glass of wine, enjoy a visit with family, or maybe throw the ball around in the backyard. Actually, built into the app are a lot of other extras, including that you might want to share what you're doing with your friends. A lot of people like to upload pictures of food. Well, you might be one of those people. You can actually share it to Twitter, Google+, Facebook, and even Pinterest. It also has iGlobes, which I don't know if I want to share with people where I am and what I'm cooking. I don't know if people are going to want to come over for dinner or what the real advantage to that is. But certainly that's another option for you. It also has a timer, which could be helpful if you like that, and recipes. I didn't find the recipes incredibly helpful, but it's something that is included in the app. The pros are it is Bluetooth, and it's got 2 probes. It's also very accurate. There's so many pros I could list. I like the fact that it wraps up, it stores nicely. So on the cons, I would say a con would be that as I could share what I'm doing to Pinterest, I couldn't actually pull anything from Pinterest. So if I was interested in, checking some of the recipes that I have on my Pinterest board, I couldn't work it the other way around. I could only post to Pinterest. So that's about it. I mean, all in all, it's a really nice thermometer. And at $80, I would definitely give it a buy. It's worth it. I'm Tanya Hall, and this is my review of the Thermapen and the iDevice kitchen thermometers.
So there you go, a definite buy for the iDevice kitchen thermometer. Thank you, Tanya. Tanya Hall, host of Marketing Mavericks on Twitter, and of course the producer of this show along with Karsten Bondi. We've got another review from Chad coming up in just a little bit, but I thought I'd try to fix, there's no spudger, there's no tool, but I bet you if you could fix it, you could find a manual on iFixit for this couch. I think we ought to try it out. I have brought with me a couple of iFixit, wonderful iFixit things. You know what iFixit is? It's a website that is designed to help you fix the things in your life, not just your phone and the broken screen on your phone, but really any project, including, yes, furniture, appliances. iFixit's tools are designed by, and repair manuals are designed by their teardown engineers. They have taken apart, as you know, because we've done it on the show, hundreds of devices. They've built thousands of repair guides. And in fact, you'll find on iFixit, I don't know, thousands of repair guides for things, even things like your game machines. Look at that. Is that an Atari 2600? Holy cow. That's pretty awesome. Now, the tools are kind of wonderful. One of the things that iFixit does, besides the manuals, they sell parts. Look at that, a Famicom. They tore down a Famicom. But they also sell the hardware that you're going to need, the tools you're going to need. And I have to tell you, if you're looking for a holiday gift for a geek, the iFixit toolkit is absolutely awesome. This is the ProTech toolkit. 70 different tools to assist you with any mod, any malfunction, any misfortune, including the amazing, I bet you have one of these, don't you, Shannon?
Oh, yes,
yeah,
I do.
You have to. One of the amazing 54-bit driver kit. I think this thing is really a work of art. It has bits for just about anything. Let me take this apart a little bit. So you see there's the driver. There's also a flexi driver, so if you have to go around a corner, you can do that. And then look at all these bits. There's pentalobe, there's Torx. There are even bits, whoops, there are weird bits for things like McDonald's Happy Meal toys. Can you believe that? Stereo equipment, PC towers, watches, clocks, tablets, the nylon spudgers can open things, the plastic opening tools. You can scrape things, cleaning heat sink mats. You know, sometimes they put too much of that goo on the heat sink. You could clean it off with these spudgers. The lightweight, compact, durable tool roll makes on-the-go easy. You could take this with you if you're a repair professional, or if you're just an amateur, friends call on to help you. You know, I love that ruler. You just saw that go by on the video. That is so sweet. It's got a little pocket clip for your pocket protector. And it is one of the greatest little rulers you'll ever find. So this kit, all told, with its, 74 different tools and pieces, including 70 tools, including the 54-bit driver kit, is normally $64.95. And then they're doing a deal because they also sell this magnetic project mat, which we've used. So the idea is, as you're taking stuff apart, you put it on the magnetic thing there, and you never lose it. It is totally awesome. There's the one we use. There's the one we use every day. And Burke, you use it. Look at Burke's got stuff on it. I don't want to mess it up. But look at that. There's little things on his. Can you see that? I don't want, oh, they won't fall off. Because they're magnetic. But the screws stay there. Obviously, if something's plastic, it's not going to stay on there. All right, what are you building here, Burke? Uplink coupler, reattach top RHS. We can rebuild him. We have the technology. I'm a little worried. What are they up to? Anyway, you can get both the iFixit magnetic. This would be such a great gift for the geek in your life. The iFixit magnetic project mat plus the iFixit toolkit for $74.95 right now. And when you enter the code before you buy at checkout, you will save $10 off on any purchase of $50 or more. So go to ifixit.com/twit and use the code before you buy. ifixit.com/twit and the offer code before you buy to get all of these great tools. It fell out, the flexible thing. Did you give me that?
Right there.
Where is it? Oh, thank you very much. I'll put that right back in here. I love my iFixit toolkit. I have one at home, one at work. What is the wildest? Have you ever fixed a McDonald's Happy Meal toy?
I fixed a broken lockpick practice lock.
You broke the lock and you had to fix it.
Keith broke it. My husband broke it, and I fixed it with the iFixit.
Awesome. ifixit.com/twit, and don't forget to use the offer code before you buy. That way they know you saw it here, and you'll save $10 off your purchase, your first purchase of $50 or more. All right, we're going to move on now. Chad, the old redhead, is here to review the VisionTek USB hubs. Let's see what he thinks.
Hello, my name is Chad. I'm with Twit and Before You Buy, and today I am reviewing 2 chargers to help charge your USB devices. These are from VisionTek. Each of them have 7 USB ports, although both of these are different models. They have different features across the different models. Let me start off with the one that has the least amount of features, and that's the VisionTek 7-point USB charging hub. The only issue that I have is right off the bat, I need to say that this is not a USB hub in that it will extend the amount of USBs that you can add to a computer. Especially with this one, all it does is add ports for charging. I wish they would have called it a charging station, because that would have cleared up a lot of confusion in my book. It's pretty simple. It just has the 7 ports along the top. 4 of them are for 1 amp out, and 3 of them are for 2 amps out. The construction is fully aluminum. It's a fully enclosed aluminum case. On the top you have your power port, and you also have a power button. Other than that, pretty simple. It has a little LED on the top to let you know if you're in charging mode or if you're not. This comes in at $50, at $49.99. So next is the VisionTech 7-port charger, but this has 4 USB 3 ports on them, and it does connect to your computer, so you can actually extend the amount of USB connections that you have on your computer, and at that, it's USB 3, which is super duper fast, which is really, really great. Now, this is also a tiny bit confusing because it has 7 ports, but actually only 4 of them I found actually extend, this is what I found on my Mac, actually extend the USB. These bottom 3 are only for charging, which I couldn't find really anywhere in any of the documentation. Same construction, fully aluminum, feels really solid. It feels like you could throw this into a backpack or some travel gear, and you're really not going to worry about it banging up at all. It has as well 2 ports at the bottom that will do 1 amp and 1 port that will do 2 amps. USB 3 will give you what they claim is 900 milliamps. And we have an Android app that kind of shows off the amps that we pulled. Please take note that the cable that you use can determine how much amperage goes through. There's a whole bunch of kind of factors in that. So we weren't pulling exactly 900, and we were actually pulling more than an amp out of the 1 amp. But there's a whole bunch of factors that go into that. This hub can be used without the plug, the power plug, if you just need the 900 milliamps out of the USB 3, or want this to just be an extender. The DC in is not required. Some things that I wish would have been included, either a little bit more weight so that this wouldn't roll around on your desk, or some sort of non-slick pads added to the back. This just being put on my glass desk rolled all over the place. For the USB 3 version, this comes in at $54.99, so $55 versus the $50 on the non-extended USB cable version. So for the pros and cons on both of these, for the pros, I think ample port coverage. The fact that it also has 2 amp ports, and the fact that it is so well constructed. For the cons, I wish that they would have added some sort of non-slick back, and also plain old verbiage on the box to let you know that you're not going to get extra ports on your PC on a few of these ports, or just to let you know a little bit clearer which ports are pass-throughs and which ones aren't. Buy, try, don't buy for the VisionTech 7-port USB hub chargers. I'm going to give both of these guys a buy. Just make sure that you know that, especially with the $50 version, and that doesn't have USB, that it's not going to extend any USB ports, but putting this next to your bed would be really great. I hope that in the future they add some sort of non-slick option to this. But other than that, really rugged devices that I think are pretty okay priced for what you get. Thanks so much for watching this review. You can check out more at twit.tv/BYB or youtube.com/beforeyoubuy. See you next time. Bye.
There you go, Chad Johnson. He says a buy. Finding a good USB hub is a good thing. Everybody should have a powered USB hub, or 2 or 3. Hey, Father Robert is here. You know he loves Acer. I love Acer. I have an Acer Aspire, the S7, right? That's my Windows laptop. They've got a new one, the V15 Nitro Black Edition. This sounds pretty sweet. Let's get a review. Father Robert Balacer is here. Father?
You're a gamer or a graphics professional. You want an ultra-fast, stylish notebook with a high-resolution, large color-balanced screen, a fast processor, even faster storage, a ton of memory, and you don't want to break the bank. Usually high performance and affordable don't go together, but usually didn't have the Aspire V15 Nitro Black Edition from Acer, a gaming-themed notebook with a 4K screen and enough horsepower to drive it, all for under $1,500. Our review unit, the VN7-591G, measures 15.34 inches by 10.14 inches by less than an inch thick and 5.29 pounds heavy. It packs a 4th-generation Intel Haswell quad-core i7-4710HQ running at 2.5 GHz with a turbo speed of 3.5 GHz and 6 MB of cache. 16 GB of dual-channel DDR3 memory feeds the CPU and complements the 2 GB of dedicated GDDR5 that feeds the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 860M. In other words, holy crap. All that power pushes the pixels for the Nitro's Black signature bragging right, a 15.6-inch 3840 by 2160 4K Ultra HD screen. In the past, I've been critical of 4K displays on notebooks because I haven't really been able to tell the difference between a 2K and a 4K panel that's less than 17 inches. The Nitro Black changed my opinions because of one thing: the matte finish. Unlike glossy displays that can hide pixels behind super saturated colors and glossy lensing, the screen on the Nitro Black lets you see every beautiful pixel. And because it is a matte finish, you'll get far better color reproduction than you would on a glossy screen. It's a media professional's dream. Let's talk about storage. On many notebooks, you're forced to choose between an ultra-fast solid-state drive, an ultra-large hard drive, or a hybrid drive that gives you the capacity of a hard drive and some of the speed of an SSD. Not with the Nitro Black. Acer packed it with both an M2 slot hosting a 256GB SSD and a 2.5-inch SATA bay with a 1TB hard drive. And unlike most hybrid setups, you can access each storage device separately, meaning that you get to choose what goes on your uber-fast storage and what can be put on the rotating drive. All this tech means that the Nitro Black benches quite well. It scored an average of 3010 with a low of 2966 in PC Mark 8, 6100 in PC Mark 7, and 5149 in 3D Mark 11. But the Nitro Black isn't all specs. It feels solid, with just a little flex in the backlit full-size keyboard with numeric keypad and the oversized multi-touchpad. Acer uses a ridged backing on the screen to prevent smudges and covered the user surfaces in a rubberized texture that just feels good. Audio on the Nitro Black is good. Definitely the best notebook audio I've heard all year. 4 speakers provide plenty of volume and even an abundance of bass, though the down-firing speakers sometimes can be muddled on an uneven surface. The connectivity expansion and networking on the Nitro Black is also good, with a caveat. It sports a combo audio port, 3 USB 3.0 ports, full HDMI, an expandable gigabit Ethernet jack, media card reader, 802.11 and Bluetooth 4.0 with a MIMO antenna to increase throughput and sensitivity, and a 720p web camera. What it lacks is DisplayPort or Thunderbolt expansion. The 3-cell battery is rated for 4 hours, but you're probably not going to see that unless it's at its lowest power setting. Doing standard web browsing with the Wi-Fi on, I ran the Nitro Black empty in just under 3 hours. Watching video with the Wi-Fi off, I drained the battery in about 3.5 hours. Gaming online or rendering video dropped the battery life to just over 1.5 hours. You're going to want to pack the power adapter. In the end, the Acer Aspire V15 Nitro Black Edition VN7591G is a desktop replacement notebook that does exactly as advertised. Give great performance, gaming style, and functionality at a price point that's tough to match.
Well, there you go. There's a look at the Nitro. I like the name, the Nitro.
Black Edition.
Black Edition, and it is black. But now, see, I was thinking about my Acer 7, which I love. It's
Right.
thin, it's light. This is not thinner or light.
Yeah, so this is going for the opposite market. So the S7 is all about portability. I mean, it's a lot of power, but it's an executive notebook.
Right.
And, you know, those are going to run you between $1,600 and $2,000. This is a $1,500 notebook with a 4K monitor, with a quad-core i7, with 16 gigabytes of memory, with a dual setup.
I do have to say the monitor looks great.
It's
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. And you know what? One of the things I really like, and I mentioned this in the review, is they didn't do the glossy coating. A lot of manufacturers will put the glossy to sort of super saturate the color and make it pop. But when you don't do that, when you use a matte finish, you actually get much more accurate color reproduction. So if you're a graphics professional, this is what you want to be
interesting.
looking for,
Okay.
not the whole glossy stuff.
All right, and you say the sound is pretty good, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you listen to this, there's some people who don't like the sound because it's downward firing, but it's nice and rich.
Sounds better than the sofa. That was downward firing as well.
And it's even got a subwoofer in the back.
I feel it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a notebook audio, and you're not going to get all that much out of notebook audio, but it's still better than what you normally get out of a gaming
It sounds better,
laptop.
and it's actually more comfortable than that futon. So
Exactly.
that's a winner.
Yeah.
So let's get the pros and cons.
Pros, cons, first thing has to be the screen. Screen's beautiful. I didn't believe in 4K screens on laptops this small, but with the matte finish, you actually can tell. I had this right next to a 1080p and a 2K screen at the same size, and I could tell that this had a finer dot pitch. The other thing is it's just powerful, powerful, powerful. Fast CPU, lots of memory. The fact that they did that dual drive setup so you have an SSD and a hard drive means that you don't have to compromise space or speed. You get both of them. And also, it's the fact that it's just at a really good price point. You know, $1,500 for something like this, it's actually not all that much.
Windows 8.1, obviously.
Right.
Core i7, you get, is that the i7 for $1,500 or is that an additional?
No, this is the i7 for $1,500.
That's a pretty good price.
Yeah, it's a very good price. On the con side, the first thing has to be that it doesn't have a DisplayPort or Thunderbolt bus. I kind of miss that because if it's a 4K laptop, you're probably going to want to hook this up to a 4K display.
Yeah.
You could do that through HDMI, but you're going to be limited to like 30 frames a second. It's not, or 30 hertz refresh. Not particularly great. The other thing is the battery life. I know it's a desktop replacement, but if I'm rendering or gaming, it's an hour and a half. It goes up to about 4 hours.
Yeah.
You need the adapter. But for what it is, which is a gaming desktop replacement that I can also use for graphics editing, video production, I got to give this a buy.
All right, a buy. The Acer Aspire V15 Nitro Black Edition. Do they have a white edition?
No, but they have
a gold edition?
a Nitro. That's not the black edition. That does not have the 4K screen. Everything else is the same.
So really what's black,
4K.
what makes it the black edition is that screen.
Exactly.
Got it. Father Robert, he's the host of This Week in Enterprise Tech. He's the host of Know How. He's the host of Coding 101. And the host of Father Robert's Corner. Paco. Padres Corner. Anything else? Did I leave anything out?
No.
That's it?
Yeah, this is a...
You don't want to do more shows?
I've got time. I sleep at night, so.
We love you, Father Robert. Thank you for being here. Hey, you know, this is, if you've got a little time, this is a kind of a know-how kind of a story. This is the Smart Things Smart Home Kit. It starts with the, it was a Kickstarter project, and their goal in the Kickstarter project was to kind of make the Rosetta Stone that would, well, and that's not quite right, the key that would unlock all the other protocols. So you can use your SmartThings Hub, of course, with other SmartThings units, and they have quite a few, but you can also use it with your Hue lights. You can use it with your Sonos. You could use it with your Nest, your Dropcam, your Schlage lock. Where's the camera? Where am I?
Right
there we go.
Right
here we go. I took it out of the camera. There it is. That's the hub. And you've got, what is that there?
This is a presence sensor. So
this is cool. You glue this to the kids, and and you know when the kids are home or when they're not. For instance, what they've done is they've put together kits because they know maybe that's a little intimidating. So they have the solution kits, which give you a simple way, starting with a hub, to solve simple problems like keeping a drip from turning into a flood with a moistness sensor.
Moistitude.
What do we call that? The moist sensor.
Humidity.
No, not exactly. Moisture. There's an energy saver. There's the outdoor lighting automation. The Smart Things Maker. That's the solution kits. They also have home security kits. And they all, are at a reduced price when you use our offer code. So I invite you to go to smartthings.com/twit. The offer code is TWIT10, and you're going to take 10% off of either a home security kit or a solution kit, and get yourself started, and then you'll find there's lots more you can do once you get the hub. And by the way, it's all controllable with a smartphone, iOS, Android, and Windows Phone. Don't feel left out if you use a Windows Phone. SmartThings has something for you. You know what's going to happen next year? In 2015, they're going to start working with a Samsung line of appliances. So you can have the hub control your washer, your dryer. They even have a robotic vacuum that it can control. So that is really, that's exciting. Air conditioners. You have total control of your home. Smartthings.com/twit and save 10% off when you use the offer code TWIT10. All right, we can clear the decks here. Put away those sensors.
Put away the smart
I know
things.
you got a know-how I set up for this, but let's put these away right now. All right. And I'm going to show you some big phones. Are you ready?
New hotness.
It is the year of the phablet. There's no doubt about it. It all started a couple of years ago when Samsung released the Galaxy Note, which was the first phablet. The first Galaxy Note was, I'm thinking 5 inches. At the time, that seemed really big.
Huge.
People would say, what is that thing? And you'd say, well, it's my Galaxy Note. One of the things that distinguished the Note, of course, was the stylus, but the big screen was what really attracted the eye. They've since gone Note 2, 3, and now the Note 4. This is 5.7 inches. In fact, I think you can credit the Galaxy Note with Apple's iPhone 6 Plus, which is a 5.5-inch screen. Apple realized people want big screens. Well, there is a phablet to beat all phablets, and it's just come out, and it's from Google, and we're talking about right here. This is the Nexus 6. This is the newest Nexus release. One of the reasons people love Nexus phones, of course, is because Google makes a point of keeping it pure Android. This is the first phone to come out with the latest version of Android, 5.0 Lollipop. So It's a great phone if you want to look at Lollipop. And it takes advantage of it in some interesting ways. 5.96-inch screen. It's really a top-of-the-line device. It has Snapdragon 805 processors, quad-core, 2.7 gigahertz, 3 gigs of RAM. And the screen is another one of those 2K screens. It's 2560 by 1440.
That looks gorgeous.
Isn't it gorgeous? It's a beautiful screen. And I think it competes well against the iPhone 6 Plus and the Note 4, all three of which have high-res screens, not quite as high-res on the iPhone. I think there's one thing that I have a little bit of an issue with is they get these great big phones. They put great big batteries in them, more than 3,000 milliamp hours, but then they also put high-res screens that drain the battery faster. You know, we've noticed this with all of the QHD displays. They just don't get the battery life that something like you use the OnePlus One. That's a 1080p display. It gets great battery life. iPhone does an amazing job with its 5.5-inch display, also 1080p, great battery life. This is more like, well, I can tell you because it's been on all day. Oh, somebody charged it. Darn it! But I'm getting about 12 hours of battery life, maybe a little bit more. That's disappointing. People had hoped that Lollipop would give you better battery life, and doing things like coalescing wake locks, something Apple does very well in iOS. Maybe it's doing that, but I sure don't feel the big difference in the battery life. However, you do get, now I'm being really a little unfair to it because I don't run the Google launcher, so let me put the home, and by the way, there's the beautiful new material look. You can see it on the settings. I like Lollipop, and this is a great implementation of Lollipop. Let me go back to the Google Now launcher because you'll see a little bit more of Lollipop in the launcher, the way the screens look and all of that stuff. And of course, you got Google Now there. So the Nexus 6, pure Android 5.0, high-end flagship phone at a high-end price. There are two models. There's a 32 gigabyte for $650. And for $700 you can get 64 gigabytes. Comes in two colors. This is the midnight blue, which is really almost black. It's bluish black, and they have a silvery white one. It's hard to get. In fact, I got on the store and ordered it as soon as I could, and I wasn't able to get it. Now, you know, this is the Pure Edition from the Google Store. Moto Maker also sells a Pure Edition, or you can go to your carrier, but then you'll get the for instance, the AT&T Death Star logo on here and some of the AT&T software as well. It's up to you. I think people who buy Nexus phones generally don't want that extra carrier cruft. So let's take a little bit of a look at the pros and cons. I should say before I go much farther that really the reason I brought the Note 4, the iPhone 6 Plus, and this phone is those are probably, if you're looking for a big phone, your three most prominent choices. And when I compare the Nexus 6 to the Note 4, I feel like the Nexus 6 is kind of the iPhone of Android phones. Does that make any sense?
Elegant.
It's elegant, it's simple, it's very clean in its look. They've got one of the things I love, they have front-facing speakers, which means the sound, in fact, let me play a little music. You want to hear a little music?
Yes,
I'll play a little music for you. The sound is good. They get loud. I'm not sure the bass is fantastic, but you wouldn't really expect that, frankly, on a little phone. It's great, though, if you're listening to podcasts or audiobooks, because the voice sound is really great. I'm having a little trouble getting the Wi-Fi. Here we go. I'll play a song here from Brian Eno and David Byrne called Very, Very Hungry. Let me turn it up and you can hear what it sounds like. It's not bad.
It's actually not bad.
You can hear some of the bass in there.
Yeah.
It's very listenable. It gets pretty loud. This is all the way up. I like the idea of left and right front-facing speakers, but just like the HTC One, which does the same thing, that means that the phone is going to have ears. It's going to be a little bit bigger at the top and the bottom, and that is maybe a negative. It has a beautiful screen, but not quite as beautiful as a Note 4. The Note 4, to me, is the Windows of Android phones. It's a little clunky, a little awkward, but a little more powerful.
It's all business.
It's all business. This is kind of looks, and it is a very elegant phone. I think they've done a very nice job. Pros and cons: state-of-the-art phone, great QHD display. It is pure Android, but on the con side, yeah, you may say, well, my Motorola makes this. Am I going to get the features of the Moto X? And you do not. It doesn't have active display. You can't shake it to turn on the camera. It doesn't know when you're sleeping. It doesn't know when you're in a meeting. You can't add third-party software to do that. But frankly, I was hoping that this would be a Moto X with a giant screen and a giant battery. It isn't. It isn't. It really is much more like the Nexus 5 with a 5.9-inch screen. That's kind of so that's a negative to me, is it doesn't have those Moto features. Also a negative, the battery life a little bit less than desirable. It's better than the Moto X. It's you know, between 12 and 16 hours. It does support quick charging, which means you can get it back up pretty quickly. Within half an hour, you can get 50% charge. So if you do run down, as long as you've had access to a charger, you can fill it up. Of course, no removable battery, no SD card. The back does not come off easily. iFixit did give it a high repair score. They said once you do get the back off, which is not easy, you got to spudge it off, you can at least repair the stuff inside. So that's a pro as well. And maybe a con a little bit. We expect Nexus phones to be inexpensive. It's not.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same price as any of these other flagship phones.
That's the premium price.
Yeah, it's the premium price, $650 to $700, unsubsidized. The good news is it's available from all the carriers, so you will be able to get a carrier subsidy on this. Buy, try, don't buy. Well, I think it's you know, I probably should say try in the sense that you should try this, but you should also try the Note 4. You should try the iPhone 6 Plus, because all three of these giant-sized phones, and I would include maybe the Sony Xperia Z3, the LG G3, these big phones. If you like big phones, each has its pros and cons, but they've done a very nice job. I love Lollipop. I guess we're going to get Lollipop on more phones soon.
I hope so.
I didn't mention the camera. It's a 13-megapixel OIS built-in dual flash. Good, I think a very good camera, probably better than the Moto X. Not better than the Note 4 or the iPhone 6 Plus. It's a decent camera. But it's definitely I should say try, but I'm going to say buy, because I don't want you to think it's not a great phone. It is a great phone.
It's a qualified buy.
It's a qualified buy in the sense that there are other choices out there, and it's really a personal decision you have to make. You have to look at all the choices and see which one suits you. You might want a kind of a more Windowsy, more utilitarian, businessy kind of phone. But this sure is elegant. And you know, I don't feel like. Do you feel like it's too big? We're both
no,
big
but
guys.
I love big phones.
I like big phones
and I
too.
use the OnePlus One, and that's
Right.
a big phone. And this feels that feels really nice.
Yeah, well, and I have to say that's another con, is that it doesn't have the Moto Maker features. You can't get the leather back, you can't get the wood back, you can't really customize it in any way. On the other hand, it feels good.
It does.
It's got the curved back, it's got the Motorola dimple in the back. So for such a big phone, you're not going to operate it one-handed, but I think it feels pretty good in the palm of the hand. So I like this phone. I think it's a great phone. It may very well be my daily driver. It's between, right now, for me, it's between this and the Note 4, and I just haven't decided if I'm willing to give up that pure Android experience. Lollipop's pretty sweet, as it ought to be, as all Android devices are. Anyway, there you go. A buy for the Nexus 6, but a qualified buy. Thank you, Father Robert Ballecer. Great to have you on the show. Chad Johnson, Shannon Morse. Who am I missing? Did I get everybody? Tanya, of course, Tanya. Well, and you know who else I forgot? You. Thank you for watching the show. We do Before You Buy on Tuesdays. We try to get it out onto the internet by the end of the day on Tuesday. You'll find it at twit.tv/BYB for the whole show. We also have the whole show plus individual reviews on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/beforeyoubuy. And of course, you can subscribe wherever you subscribe to your podcasts, or just get the Twit application on iPhone, Android, Windows Phone. There's even one for Roku, and make sure you download each and every episode. Remember, you gotta watch before you buy. I'll see you next time.